Could you edit out the part where I just went?
Nah, we'll keep that
Because
in.
I was trying to get the mouthfeel on your tongue.
That'll
part.
be the header of the episode.
It'll be right there in the beginning.
Oh, gosh.
Inspired by the adventures of our nurses, therapists, and techs, A Beer with Atlas is the only healthcare traveling, craft beer drinking podcast. Each week, we'll open a few beers, talk about the brewery and the style of beer, and then dive into some research curated specifically for each episode. In the end, we hope each one sounds like a conversation you'd have with your friends while enjoying a few cold ones.
Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Dolan.
Courtesy of Dolan this week, we've got one more beer before we get into the Christmas episodes.
Yeah.
Talk about where Opaque Thoughts came from.
Well, it came from the Tavor app. I've brought a couple from there now, like that W4 and well, a couple from previous episodes.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever done a milkshake IPA for one, and I know Montana is one of the states we haven't hit, so it just made sense.
Milkshake IPA
Yeah.
from Montana.
I mean, those are things you don't think go together, but I guess they do.
I would think, I don't want to generalize,
Yeah.
but I'm going to.
Okay.
Okay. I would think dudes in Montana aren't drinking milkshake IPAs.
You're wrong.
I mean,
There's proof right there.
Right here.
in Bozeman they are.
No.
Boy, I can't wait to get into this.
It's an interesting can. It's just really, how do you even...
I would say modern. It looks like a modern design.
Yeah, 2D. It's 2D design.
Okay,
Yeah.
I instantly, as I opened this, got pine cones.
Oh, I can't wait.
Ooh.
Yeah, instantly got pine cones. And don't let that scare you off, because I don't believe this is... It's not a West Coast...
I've never heard of a West Coast milkshake IPA, but that'd be awesome if they had one.
I have found through my beer journey that West
yeah.
Coast piney IPAs are not my thing. I will drink them. I will try them.
Yep. Well, usually they're maltier, and just by looking at it, we can tell it's not that.
Oh,
so.
no. This is a golden
Yeah.
haze. Yeah. But you can definitely tell it's an IPA. You smell it. It's definitely an IPA.
Oh yeah, you can smell it.
Right? Okay, that's super interesting. Brian, you should love this.
Okay. I haven't taken
Because this
Ooh.
is, right?
I like it.
It's almost that. It's
close.
Right?
It like creeps up there, and then the vanilla kind of, it tastes like vanilla, kind of sneaks it back.
It just kind of folds it under.
Yeah. Hey, you nailed it. Double milkshake IPA with pineapple, peach, tangerine, vanilla bean,
Yeah.
and lactose.
Definitely get the vanilla. That's like the leftover like feeling in my mouth is vanilla.
Is vanilla. So this is from a brewery called Mountains Walking. Mountains Walking. And there's a story to it.
Okay.
Did you look up the story?
No.
Because I had to.
Nope.
That's a weird name.
Yeah, it is.
It's a unique name. So Mountains Walking Brewery and Pub is located at 422 North Plum Avenue in Bozeman, Montana. It's one of 9 breweries in Bozeman.
Sounds like we need to get to Bozeman.
I think so. I don't know how big is Bozeman. Do we know just off the top of our heads? I mean, Omaha size? Are we bigger?
no,
Kansas
it can't
City?
Be, can't be that big.
I'll do a quick Google
Yeah.
search while you go on.
There's
that.
no way it's that big.
They are open 11:30 to 8 daily.
I did write this down in my research.
Okay.
Just real fast. 43,200 people
in Bozeman.
in Bozeman.
Well, that's
Wow.
That's not very big at all.
That's like a fourth of the size of Lincoln.
Wow, I thought Bozeman was, but they have 9
Yeah.
breweries.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so dudes in Bozeman are drinking milkshake IPAs.
So founded in 2018, so not
it's
very
new,
long.
yeah.
Not long ago by Gustav Dose,
Of course.
DOSE,
DOSE.
DOSE Dose.
Maybe he goes like Doza.
That I was
Goza?
just
Like
gonna
a
say
Goza.
that.
Oh,
Gustav
I think he's
Goza
missing.
Doza.
He might be missing the boat on this. I mean,
Yeah.
he could get
He
the
could change
Doza
his name
Doza.
quick.
I don't know.
He should do a doza. He should.
At
They
this
might.
point, if he was listening at this point, he'd just click the off button.
Or he'd be like, I've heard that before.
I've heard that before. Dude grew up in Taiwan, lived in Japan, studied brewing around the world,
Apparently so.
and
Wow.
then ended up in Bozeman. somehow.
Wow.
So
I mean, common.
Yeah, that's most stories, right?
totally. This is actually on their website. Discover the true nature of beer, in quotation marks, the true nature of beer through the cultivation of the mystery of fermentation. Makes it sound like alchemy or magic or something.
Kind of is.
It is kind of. That's true. This is also kind of fun. I just wrote down early struggles. It's a unique market in Bozeman. I think in Montana in general.
Okay.
Montana's laws haven't necessarily maybe caught up to their state to the south, Colorado.
Right.
In a lot of ways. A liquor license system that's like a multi-million-dollar pay-to-play has been set in stone there. Like it is part of their law. It's very difficult to get a liquor license, and the Tavern Association, which seems kind of old. Like
That's an old name. Yeah.
yeah, the Tavern Association is the richest lobby in the state.
Dang.
Uh,
Even more than like cattle or anything like that?
No, the tavern.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's that old adage, right?
Yeah.
When the gold rush happened, you wanted to be the guy selling pickaxes.
Sure. Or whiskey.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Tavern Association just they are the largest, richest lobby in the state.
Everybody's just trying to stay warm. Okay.
That's right.
Everyone's just trying to stay
That's
warm.
right. That's for sure, especially up there. All right. So let me interject a little, and then we'll get back to your
Sure.
story and research, because I just want to. Dolan talked about it briefly. Milkshake IPAs. So like kind of what we're getting into.
Oh, good.
They're in the family tree of hazy IPAs. So it's like a subset of hazies, right? Which this is. So these did not exist before a hazy IPA. So some people, tinkered and came up with the Milkshake IPA.
Okay.
So it's like less than 10 years old, this style. It's basically a hazy IPA that's brewed with some sort of milk sugar.
Thus the milkshake.
And it has to have vanilla to make it be technically a milkshake IPA. So it has to be in there. Usually it's something with that and then different fruits. And there you go, milkshake IPA. So it could be strawberry, it could be pineapple, it could be guava, whatever you can find that's a fruit. It's going to have that in it for a milkshake.
We have been known to mock the milkshake IPA at times, right?
I think that's, a lot of people do that, but we still drink them. Milk sugar is unfermentable, so it's not boosting up any like alcohol content.
Even though it's a sugar?
Correct. So it's like special brewing sugar, I guess. But what it does do is it gives it smooths out the mouthfeel, kind of coats your tongue like a milkshake would.
Yep.
And it's similar to like a milk stout. So you'll see that term sometimes. So it's just to like smooth out the edges basically and round it off on your palate, if that makes sense.
Could you edit out the part where I just went?
Nah, we'll keep that
Because
in.
I was trying to get the mouthfeel on your tongue.
That'll
part.
be the header of the episode.
It'll be right there in the beginning.
Oh gosh.
When you add fruit, especially if you're using like concentrate or if you're using real fruit juice, whatever you're going to do, that helps build the texture on top of that mouthfeel and can also add a little bit of tartness, maybe some floral scents or some tropical fruit smell or sweetness, which is probably true to this one because to me this one tastes fairly sweet.
Does it, Dawn, do you know, does it list the hops that are used in this one?
No, I know it says it lists the alcohol, which is 8%.
Okay, well that seems about
That's
right.
in the wheelhouse of most hazy IPAs.
Yeah, I would say that the maybe more juicy, fruity or hop flavor varieties are used here to accentuate the pineapple and
Sure.
and all that.
Maybe Untapped will have it when we get there.
I would guess Citra or something like that for sure.
Mosaic maybe has that kind of flavor sometimes.
The last little bit I'll get into before you do your stuff is Milkshake IPA. They say it was created by a brewery that I think you recently saw, Omnipollo.
Oh yes.
In Stockholm, Sweden. That's where it comes from, they say. So one of these IPA innovations that didn't come from craft breweries here in the United States. came from there.
Spoiler alert, I believe we have a triple milkshake IPA coming from Omnipolo in the next 2 months.
There you go. We'll have to cut that with a fork and knife, probably.
Boom.
A triple. Then Tired Hands, which we've talked about. We've had, I believe, out of Philadelphia. They were one of the first to have it in the United States. And now there's even homebrew kits that you can buy that are milkshake IPA homebrew kits.
Oh.
Like they've advanced that much in just a few short years. And 5 great ones to try. So I was just looking up like styles of IPA and milkshakes. So these are the 5 of the top 10 that I could find.
Okay.
And I tried to go all around the country. So if people are listening to this in your area, you might be able to find one of these. Guava Moki out of Great Notion Brewery in Portland, Oregon.
Mochi, like MOCHI.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Oh.
What does that mean?
It's a Japanese. I don't want to call it like a pastry, but it's. Oh man, it's like if Play-Dohs and marshmallow had a baby. Like that's the texture of it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, you can have it frozen too, and then that gives a way different taste and texture. But it's basically just like a Japanese sweet bean bun pastry thing. Yeah, it's chewy, but I don't know. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it's either or.
Well, apparently they love it because it's the beer.
If we have friends in Portland, please find this beer and send it to us. Holy cow.
Another one is called Rare Treat. Cerebral Brewing in Denver, Colorado.
Cerebral,
I've been there. That's a peach fruit added in that one.
I'll see if my brother can score that for us.
Mood Ring
Ooh.
is from Bearded Iris Brewing in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's raspberry.
Okay.
So a raspberry milkshake.
Here's a picture of
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I've seen those before. They look like they do look like a weird like fruit covered pastry
Bun.
Play-Doh
something
thing.
yeah.
So the bean thing that I was talking about is actually just a flavor. It's made from rice. It's a rice. But that makes sense.
So like a rice bun with fruit inside of it, kind of.
Yeah.
That sounds very
smushy.
Japanese. Yeah.
It's very sweet.
Together or Alone, Foam Brewers in Burlington, Vermont.
Foam.
And this one, it said specifically no fruit added,
Okay.
which seems strange to me, but okay. And then the last one, Opaque Thoughts, Mountains Walking Brewery,
There we go.
Oh.
Guava in Bozeman, Montana. So that'll bring us back home to the walking.
To
mountains.
Mountains Walking.
there you
So
go.
it's a unique name, and I took this directly off their website, and I understand it now because I appreciate. I love the mountains. Mountains are. I will someday end up in the mountains.
Yeah.
When it's time for me to die, I'm gonna go find a bear, like
Oh,
at the end
wow.
of what was that movie with Brad Pitt?
A Brad Pitt bear attack.
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. At the he went through the life with Brad Pitt. Dolan knows. He's looking at me like
I
he
don't
knows.
think.
No.
Are you talking about the Revenant?
No,
that's not Brad
no.
Pitt.
No, he fights. No, that this
killed
is,
the bear in that one.
This God, Legends of the Fall.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
Remember
That's,
at the
that's
end?
before Dolan's time.
Okay, so remember in Legends of the Fall when he's younger, he stabs the bear paw and he gets the one finger of the bear and he keeps it or whatever. So apparently, supposedly, when he goes to die, when Tristan's character goes to die at the end, he goes into the woods and he fights that same bear. So he found his bear. He fights that bear.
Yeah.
And then he dies. And at the end, the last line is, "It was a good death."
Wow.
Like it was time for him to die. So
you're going out to fighting a bear.
I believe my family's not gonna suffer if I get cancer or whatever.
Right.
You know, I'm just gonna go in the woods and fight a bear and
Okay.
I will die
Wow.
into the mountains.
That's
how I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good death.
You've definitely thought it over.
So Mountains Walking. This came directly from their website.
Okay.
The mountains are a daily fact of life in Bozeman. Look up, there they are. In his Mountains and Water Sutra, which I don't know what a sutra is. I assume it's some kind of story.
Okay.
Dogen, D-O-G-E-N, Dogen?
Yeah.
I feel kind of dumb not knowing what this is.
Well, it's hard to pronounce.
Yes. Says, when your understanding is shallow, you doubt the phrase, green mountains are always walking. It seems that this phrase, mountains walking, destroys boundaries and dissolves the division between mountains and people. It's two words that together make you stop and think. Nearly everyone in Bozeman goes walking in the mountains, so it is not a remote or abstract proposition. The name itself will generate so many conversations. A customer will ask, "So what does your name mean?" Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Yes, exactly.
That's deep.
It is deep.
Yeah.
This dude seems deep anyway. Like,
Worldly.
Yeah.
As the story shows, I guess, huh?
yeah.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, a beer called Opaque Thoughts. What does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
Yeah. Anybody here been to Bozeman?
No.
I have not.
No.
I'd like to go.
Well, if they have 9 breweries, I think we should.
I've been to Billings.
I've been to Billings as well.
I've been to Wyoming. That's close.
It's close-ish.
It's close.
Yeah.
It is. Where
Yeah.
I grew up in Wyoming, it was only 40 minutes to the border. So,
I remember, and this was probably in the 90s or so, but the whole thing about Montana was they had no speed limit. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
You could just drive as fast as you wanted to. And then I think in the last 10 years, they actually have put one in. But I think it's only for nighttime driving now, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 85 or something.
Oh,
Because if you're ever in there, it's beautiful, Montana, the parts I saw.
sure.
But it's wide open. Holy
Desolate.
cow, yeah. So I went and just did a little bit of Bozeman research to kind of put some stuff into our minds about this place we've never been to and the kind of people that are drinking this beer
Sure.
in the tap room, let's say.
The people I generalized about
Yes.
earlier. I will feel bad about it now.
Well, the average age of someone in Bozeman is 27.3 years old.
Wow.
And they
So
have
closer to Dolan than us.
Yes,
Wow.
2.7% unemployment rate.
That's really good.
awesome.
And in 2015 was 43,200. So I'm guessing it's gone up since then, but that's the last thing I have. Their job, like the main 3 things that give jobs is, let me see if I can read my handwriting. Technology. So it's like a technology spot. Do a lot of computer things. Outdoor recreational.
Okay.
So like, skiing and hiking and snowmobiles and a lot of winter things like that. And then I just wrote housing. So just like construction and building stuff.
Oh.
Montana State University is here. And it is ranked number 1 out of 30 for best in the nation for outdoor sports and recreation.
Really?
So if you're that college kid, you want to go snowboarding or, I don't know, build a snowman, whatever. This is the place to do it. Montana State University.
Home of the Fighting Bobcats.
Yes.
There you go.
That
I had to
sounds
look it
cool.
up.
I don't know. 300 days of sunshine a year,
Oh.
Wow.
which seems, I don't know. That's probably too much for me. I don't deal well with that much. I need some
300
clouds.
days of sunshine,
Yeah.
but obviously not hot enough to melt the snow.
The average temperature, 43 degrees. Like
Oh.
in the winterish times, and the average low is 30. The average high in the summer is 57.
This seems like
It's just
Not
a pocket.
bad.
Yeah. But here's the kicker. They average 86 inches of snow.
okay.
So
Well, that's a lot.
that is a lot.
86 divided by 12. How many feet is this? That's how many feet do they?
Well, that's like 8 foot, right? Or pretty close.
That's
7.
a
Pretty close,
lot
yeah.
of snow.
7 point something. 7.5.
7.16.
There we go.
7 feet of snow per year.
Man,
Feet.
that's like an NBA
Yeah,
Player. It's like
NBA
Manute Bull.
player, yeah.
per of snow per year.
Yeah,
on the
that's a
ground.
lot. You'd have to
Wow.
shovel a lot of snow. So
Yep.
get your 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Golfing is big in this area in the short time that you can, I guess, be out there and golf.
Well, with that much sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Golfing, hiking, biking, skiing. This is probably the mountains. I want to say Gallatin Valley Mountains.
Okay.
So that's in the area there. Let me see if I can understand what I'm trying to say here. Oh, yeah. Okay. In that area, in the histories, up until even like probably 1900, there was Native American tribes in the area, the Shoshone, the Bannock, the Nez Perce, and Blackfeet. And they used to come down into town in Bozeman, and sometimes you would see them just on Main Street going through town because that was where they were heading to go to Yellowstone for to hunt and stuff like that.
Yep.
So up until the 1880s to 1900, that would be something you might see if you're sitting in the tavern and on Main Street in Bozeman.
There's just a
tribes of
walking
Native
through.
American coming through to get to Yellowstone.
And then maybe 2, 3, 4 days later, they'd be walking back through with a buffalo or
Could be.
whatever they killed.
Yeah.
And moving back.
A lot of, I guess, elk in that area, it said.
Oh, yeah.
And they have 2 statues of Sacagawea in the town. She was a interpreter, Shoshone, and she's basically what helped Lewis and Clark, like, survive.
Yeah.
She's the one that, like, could do the language and knew some of the tribes in the area and got them, like, winter lodging, basically, to keep them alive because they were stuck in a real bad spot. Sure. She's kind of the one that did that. So
And not killed because they were a white man.
Yes.
Intruding on the lands of the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just all that whole stuff. So she's like a superhero there and has 2 different statues in this town of, 50,000 people. Or
So
whatever.
would they say it's Sacagawea? Isn't that like a big...
I don't know.
Is it Sakakawea?
Probably.
Wait.
Sacagawea?
There's a secondary pronunciation? Like,
Well,
Yeah.
it's all about how you, Yep. I'm an Anglo guy. So that's
okay,
how I
sure.
learned it in
Yes,
school.
yes.
But
Sacagawea.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
But
the
there's
spelling
like-
is the same-ish, right?
It,
Kind of.
Well, it is the same. It's just the pronunciation, I think.
Like a dialect and pronunciation thing or whatever.
Because growing up in Wyoming, I had a history teacher yell at all of us for saying Sacagawea. And I never knew until...
There you go.
But I still don't know because maybe it's just that one teacher.
I
don't
think
know.
I think you're right though. Like it all really depends on where you come from. If that's part of your history or whatever. Also, I was listening to this podcast recently, and they were talking about there's an online test. I think it's out of like the New York Times or something. You answer 25 questions, and it's all about pronunciation. So it's like how you say these words, or if there is a word for a certain thing.
Okay.
So it's like, what do you call like a stream, like a small stream in your area? What do you call it? A creek, a crick, something like that. So you answer 25 of these questions, and it can tell you basically the zip code you're from within 25. And somebody on the podcast did it, and it was right. Like got the town. He was from Detroit. So
Really?
it's pretty cool, and that's something like regional things, of course. How you pronounce things and just language in general makes a big, where you're from makes a big difference on that stuff. So,
Yeah.
Like how Dolan makes fun of the way I say treasure.
well, yeah, you
Treasure.
treasure,
It's treasure,
It's treasure.
says you.
treasure. Oh
or
boy,
how people say milk
Milk?
yep, milk
instead
or wash.
of milk.
Yeah,
I never
Or-
said wash.
Yeah.
I think it's more southern.
it might be
Both or both.
both with an
Both?
L.
It's
yeah,
both.
both.
I say both.
Yeah,
I say toilet.
turlet.
Yeah.
Jinx.
That's what my dad said.
Yep.
He thought he was funny.
Last couple little things about Bozeman. It was kind of founded by fur trappers. A lot of French folks come down from Canada, and that was a thing. But really only till after Lewis and Clark. So it wasn't really explored by white folks too much. Named after a guy named John Bozeman, who you talked kind of about earlier because he was there for the gold rush.
Oh.
And he showed up, and he was a really bad gold miner. But he was a really good promoter.
Oh.
And he promoted this thing called the Bozeman Trail. So
Okay.
basically it was a way to get from like Georgia or the South up through the mountains and the passes and all that to get up to Bozeman for other miners to come.
Oh.
And then after that, it became a way to get there to Homestead. Problem was it went right through a bunch of warring native tribes and mostly the Sioux and Cheyenne, who I guess from what I understand they just love to attack you if you're going through their area.
Sure.
And his nickname with those guys was Bloody Bozeman because he would just bring people through this area, his name and his trail, and it would go right through there. Let's see, what else was it? He was, I don't know what the flip is on this, but he was called a Southern Democrat in a Republican-run town, this Bozeman guy, right?
Interesting.
So he was pro-union, and they named the town after him, but then most of the people that lived there didn't agree with his political stuff, so they wanted to change it just to Mountain City instead of Bozeman. But in the end, he won out.
He won out.
And he was like a really, I guess, big gambler and stuff, and lost a lot of money and things.
I was going to call him a carpetbagger. Remember the
That's a term, I think, for
carpetbagger?
something like that.
I don't.
but
I mean, it's close, but I don't
Yeah.
know if that's necessarily quite on.
but that's who not technically founded the town, but got the name. They got their name from this guy from Georgia.
Cool.
So that's what I got for us.
Interesting.
On Bozeman.
Only in Bozeman.
That's right.
Right.
Sounds like a place I want to go. I'd like to check some of this stuff out.
It sounds fantastic.
A lot of cool history.
Mountains, history, beers.
Yeah, mountains for sure. I love the mountains.
I would really enjoy that. I think, as I really enjoyed this beer.
Yeah, it was darn good.
It just every week it astounds me that we get just really, really good beers. One of these times, Dolan's going to order something from Tavor, or Traveler's going to send us a beer, and we're going to say, what
happened?
is this?
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened yet.
I thought we were going to do that with the beet beer. We did do that for about one drink,
Kind of did.
and then we changed our tunes.
Kind of did it with the best made pickles,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, kind of. I'll tell you though, I've been to some breweries before, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to finish that.
Yeah.
Like that didn't work at all.
I've always finished everything. I'm just proud of that fact.
Me too.
To be honest, I probably did finish it just because,
Yeah.
but I wasn't happy about it. Try harder.
The only thing I think I've ever who does the Jam Band? I like everything else from the brewery, but the Jam Band beer.
Got Boulevard?
It's Boulevard.
Boulevard. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Boulevard.
I
It's not bad.
I don't know.
Just ain't for him.
I'll say
Not for
something.
me.
I'm going to say something really, really controversial.
Oh, boy.
I don't like Tank 7
Oh.
from Boulevard.
You know,
That's like one of their flagship beers.
Signature beers, right?
Been around forever.
That people love.
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't like farmhouse style.
I don't think you do, because you don't like that floral.
No.
Yeah.
No.
not a fan of that either. The farmhouse, Saison, all that. I guess, yeah.
I remember back in the day, you could buy those bombers for like $9. It was so great.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, one of my favorite sours of all time is Love Child
Yeah.
from Boulevard.
It's real good.
Yeah.
I wonder what these guys make. I didn't write down any other kinds of beer, just that they were a big IPA brewery.
It looked like they had a ton of that style.
Yeah.
Which surprised me
Yeah.
a lot. I really would have thought if Dolan said I'm going to bring a beer from Bozeman, Montana, I would have thought something like traditional lager
or a brown or something.
yes.
Yeah, not a milkshake IPA with guava.
No, well, like when we go back to the Wyoming episodes, the ones we did in Wyoming, they were browns and ales
Yep.
and
Yeah.
that type of thing. Which
Yeah.
I don't want to generalize, but this
Yeah.
guy's doing some pretty amazing stuff there.
Well, and the ones we drank from Wyoming, are two of the breweries the only two breweries on the east side of Wyoming there.
The whole state.
Yeah, and both of their flagships were the Browns.
Yeah.
Which I would be more likely to guess that
Yeah.
rather than a really, really good milkshake IPA coming out of
Yeah.
Bozeman, Montana.
It's interesting. I guess it must just because of the college. That the age of the people that live there is so young. Like that seems really crazy to me that the average age is like 28.
Well, and I guess that would make sense for the IPAs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're having that many college,
Well, think about it. Most of those kids, right, have been alive drinking age since hazy IPAs have been around. Like that's
Yeah.
been a thing that they could always have. Whereas people like us, me and Rich, there wasn't even a brewery in our town.
Right.
And to wait
Yeah.
till like the 90s.
I remember the first time I ever saw a craft brewery. So I grew up in Kansas. Mm-hmm. My first experience, like the first time I ever saw a craft brewery, because I thought everything was Budweiser.
Sure.
Right? I mean, that's
Well, it
was.
was. Yeah.
Right? I mean, my dad drank Michelob. My uncles drank Budweiser or whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone I went to school with drank Budweiser. It was stupid. The first craft brewery I ever saw was Free State in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah.
And it used to be, now people can sit out there. It used to be when you walked in, all the big copper kettles were right up front.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big glass wall, and you could see that. And I didn't know how you brewed beer. I was in college.
Yeah.
So, and then I was like, oh shit, you're charging how much for a pint? Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
we were drinking, Milwaukee's Best
For like
for
$1 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is like $8 I guess at the time,
Now
like
it is
$5.
Yeah. Probably back then, $4 or $5.
Yeah, like oh geez. But then you drink it, you're like, what the Oh my
Like,
goodness.
what's wrong with this? Why does it
Wow.
taste so good?
I think there's something weird in here.
Yeah, flavor. What? So strange.
But I mean, I was in college at the time. I mean, I was 20. Well, I was 19 years old.
I mean, I remember going to Lincoln's first and one of the states first, which was opened in like '89. That was Laszlo's.
Yes.
And that was a brew pub,
Yep.
and they still make beer and stuff. But that was what I was 11, I guess.
They have I forget what restaurant it is in Omaha, but they tap Laszlo's taps all of their beer.
well, Laszlo's Empyrean is the
Empyrean is the
brand.
Yeah.
Empyrean.
There's the one out by my house, the Laszlo's out there. That's all.
Oh, okay. So there is.
Yeah.
So it
Yes.
is Laszlo's in Omaha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was just
Yeah.
in Lincoln or what.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
guy
there's one
that
here.
did that was kind of like this guy. It sounds like the guy that owned Laszlo's in Lincoln. He out of college went and worked. I almost want to say maybe like Russian River somewhere in California.
Oh wow.
And like this is in the 80s, you know, like early 80s, like 82, 83, and figured out how to like brew beer. Like went to school, brewery school, came and bought this building in Lincoln downtown and opened up this place, and everybody was like, "Why you make your own beer? Why?
That sounds crazy.
Nobody does that,
Right.
You know?" And yeah, some like 30 years later, they're still doing it.
You just go to the store and get a 30-pack,
Yeah, for sure.
right? Which you still
Well,
can, I guess. But
You can still do that.
yeah,
I really like their peanut butter porter.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's super good.
isn't it the Third Stone Brown? Isn't
Yeah,
that?
that's one of their.
I do like their brown ale.
That was my dad, or my dad liked that one a lot. My father-in-law, that was his favorite beer for 15 years probably, till I got a hold of him.
You learned him a thing or
Yep,
two.
expanded his horizons.
All right, let's check Untapped.
Okay.
Less than you would think. 959 check-ins.
Yeah, seems right.
What
Because
do
if we had to get ours through the internets,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Not a ton. I couldn't find distribution on them, so I'm
bet
going to
you
guess
that's
Montana. Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
to guess Bozeman.
I think it has all the states on here.
Does it? Let's hear.
On the can? Oh.
Yeah. Connecticut, Delaware, Iowa,
Iowa.
MA,
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, Maine, New York, Oregon, and Vermont.
So they're like, hey, areas where you make hazy IPAs and milkshakes, try this. Wham.
This dude is smart.
Yeah.
Holy
Get into those
mackerel.
markets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Notice that Idaho's not on there.
No.
Wyoming.
No.
Colorado even, which is weird.
Colorado, I would understand. I don't
Utah.
think anybody in their right mind outside of Colorado would want to try to enter the Colorado brewing
that'd be
market.
tough.
Well, now I'm like double guessing it because what is is
That sounds like the states that you get money back for cans.
for recycling cans? Because it's like
Is
cash
Iowa
for
on
fun.
there?
Iowa's on there.
Yeah, that's for recycling.
So not distributing. That's
Okay.
for recycling.
Let's keep that in too.
So
We should.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Start the episode with that. Oh, boy.
I love it.
I love you
love
guys.
it.
This is so awesome. Okay.
So less than 1,000.
Less than 8,000 check-in, 959. What do you say?
4.18.
3.89.
You're going to be so mad.
Hmm.
4.17. Wow. Almost. Almost.
0.01.
So close.
So close.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a 4.25 all day long for me. That's a good hazy
Yeah.
IPA.
Yeah.
That's really good.
If we could, I would buy that. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I mean, if it really was distributed in
Yeah.
Iowa,
Yeah, we could just go get some.
because I really thought I could drive to Council Bluffs. That's
And, and get something.
really
Yeah.
not that far.
Yeah, no.
Well, Tavor. Just look at it.
Yeah.
Tavor. This might be one of their. I don't know. It says seasonal series. So I
They
don't know.
did do it. Yeah, I did see that on their website that they did different kinds of,
Yep.
not just milkshake IPAs, but that was one of them for that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dolan and Tavor, for that one.
Yeah,
That's
it was great.
super interesting. So are we 4 weeks of Christmas beers next? Is that
Three.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks.
3 weeks of Christmas beers, and then we are going to start 2021
Yeah.
in the only way we know how.
Yeah.
Who was it? Dolan that came up with the name, or did you come
No,
up
it
with
was Brian.
Was it Brian?
Brian came up with it.
Maybe.
Drown out 2020.
Yeah.
We have to
Yep.
clean out the beer fridge, so we're going to clean out the beer fridge again. 3 weeks of Christmas beers, And then we're going to...
4 weeks.
Is it 4 weeks of Christmas? No, 3 weeks of Christmas.
beer, 4 weeks of Drown Out 2020.
So 4 weeks of cleaning out the beer fridge. So
we got at least 12 beers in that series, maybe more.
Yes.
Yeah.
That gives you an idea of just how many beers we were either given, sent, whatever, to review that we just didn't get to.
And how much beer it will take to erase the memories of 2020.
Oh, I think we will do a really good job of that.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. We're not going anywhere for a while.
Let's have a Christmas beer.
Thank you for listening to A Beer with Atlas. Special thanks to our brand team for producing the show. Each episode of A Beer with Atlas is powered by Atlas MedStaff, an industry leader in travel healthcare staffing.